What up, though? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. What it do for all the people around the world? Welcome back to another Ironman challenge featuring your boy Mob City. Now, I lost all my audio footage, so I'm doing post commentary, but it's all good. I'm gonna let you know I'm gonna try my best to win with all 8 leaders from Op01. Now, I am not that great with Op01 leaders, but I'm gonna try my absolute best to try to get every single one into the rake server. If not, we're gonna put them in the back burner, and then we're gonna try 10 wins with them on the casual server. But without further ado, let me take y'all through every single matchup that I went through in the last almost 2 hours. And like I said, post game, I'm not very good with post commentary, but I'm gonna try my absolute best. In this first matchup go around, going against Purple Luffy, I think I opted to keep this hand. I saw the Nami, I saw the Zoro, I saw the Dragon. I'm like, okay, and I got 2Ks. I was like, sure, maybe this will work. All I need is a singular way to get to the choppers, because this is the Zoro build. Maybe I could have played this out a little differently by mulliganing my hand to see if we can find Corejos instead, because you'll see in a second, I did not see one chopper immediately besides the blocker chopper, and I think I end up opting just to choose to rush down the Luffy with Zoros instead, and without seeing the 3-cost chopper or anything to combo with the Alabaster combo, I just opted to just take the Zoro and just keep pushing. Now, I believe this version of RP Luffy is running the Straw Hat package, which, you know, turn 1 Nami, turn 3 Zoro Juro, ramp up, and then turn 4, if they have it, they go Bond Clay, swing with Zoro, and they go from 6 to 7. It's pretty fast paced. So on my turn, I'm really just thinking about how I just want to spend it. So I think I'll just casually poke him with 6s with both leader and both characters Zoro, just to see if they would give me cards out the hand. And they have the Bond Clay, so that's why I was like, all right, screw it. We're just gonna keep poking him for 6s to see if he's gonna take it eventually. He took the first life, and then he ends up going into his next turn, searching with another Nami, finding Nami. My opinion, that's a little silly, because we've been so used to Nami not being able to search Nami, but Nami can search Nami. But anyway, I think my opponent opted to use, he used In 2 Years at Saboti Archipelago, which I've never seen this card be used in so long. And another thing that blew me was he ended up putting, I think, 3 Dawn on Zoro Juro to swing at my Zoro to ramp 1. I don't know if that was correct, but at the same time, I don't know exactly what is in his hand. But looking at my hand, I say, that's fine. You can have that. There's no point in protecting this one. He swings again at me, because I know if I protected the Zoro, he was going to put a Dawn on leader, swing another 7 at Zoro, which that was going to burn my hand. No point in doing that. Just opt to, be more aggressive and swing out to his leader, to his Zoro Juro. And here I was kind of contemplating how I wanted to spend this turn, because I knew that next turn he was going to be at 8, and on 8 Dawn turn, he can ramp up to 9. He can go 9 and 2, rush Luffy. He can play a Sanji. He can play, if they still play, he can go into Big Mom, 9 Kaido. There's so many things that he could have went to. So at this point, I think it was better for me to try to be more aggressive as possible to dwindle the cards out of his hand. And you can see me contemplating between going Nami Makino Chopper, or should I slam down another Zoro? And I believe I end up taking the Makino route. Makino to boost the Nami. Yeah, I did. So I go Makino, boost the Nami. Like I said, just pure aggression at this point, just trying to get the cards out of his hands. and even trying to be just a little step further, because I'm still at 4 life. But he can change that real easily, real quick. And then he countered out, so I'm like, okay, if you counter out, here's a Zoro swing. And then my last card, I believe, is going to be the Chopper instead of searching with Nami, because I needed the counter in my hand just in case something went awry. Yep. But then you will see he drops a Kid, and I'm like, okay, you didn't ramp to 9, and you dropped a Kid. Which made me think he had no top end in his hand. So I'm like, okay, maybe I should start defending Zoro if he decides he wanted to attack into Zoro. But he take care of Nami with his Nami, takes care of Zamakino with the other Nami, which is perfectly fine by me. If he leaves one up that tells me he has G3, aka Gum Gum Giant, yes, I'm calling it G3. And now in my mind, I'm contemplating, while he's contemplating what to do, if next turn, depending on what he does, he ends up swinging at me. You're right. I was contemplating that if he didn't swing at me, I was going to drop the dragon. But if he does swing at me, I was going to drop Rayleigh. But then I drew into Crayhaw. And now looking back on it, I should have probably played the Crayhaw to see if I can find any choppers, because I can fully establish my board. But I opted to go back to the aggression mode. So dropping the dragon, put the 2 on leader, swing 6 with Rush Zoro. That was a big oops. Forgot he was a 7k leader, not a 6k leader. But then, try to make up for it. Swing 7 with the leader, counters, very good. Swing 10 with the leader. Now, he could G3 here, which I was hoping that he would. It will cycle out his hand and out all the deck that a dead card will be. But obviously, G3 is very good at giving you brand new cards. He did have the Rush Luffy, and he just chose not to use it. So now I'm in a very precarious position. It's like, okay, if he got rid of Rush Luffy, maybe he has another one in hand, or maybe he has a Rayleigh in hand. If he has either one of those cards in hand, then my turn can just immediately end. He drops a Newgate, and I'm like, okay, if you drop Newgate, that means your turn is about to be pretty stagnant at this point. So I'm like, okay, if he swings at either one of these characters, I'm just blocking with Chopper no matter what. And now I see the line of play of him only having 3 cards, but he is a now 9k leader. And I'm thinking to myself, I probably can't do anything about this in terms of like trying to swing for game. So with him being at 9k, that already makes my leader and my character kind of not viable this turn. So it would have been better to play the Rayleigh, weaken the Kid, weaken the Edward Newgate. At least I'll be able to swing into the Kid with my dragon. And if he decides to protect it, I still have my character Zoro and my leader Zoro. So let's see. I believe I did that math correctly too. Minusing 3 on the Newgate, -2 on the Kid, right? Yeah. I popped the 9. Yeah. Which in my mind makes sense. So then I think I go 7 into the Eustace. He counters, yep. And then go 10 into the Eustace. Can't keep countering out of that. Okay, so again, in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm safe. You only got a Newgate. If you have a Rush Luffy, you have a Rush Luffy. It is what it is. But if he was to go after Dragon, I was going to counter out. And nothing about it. He goes for the Nami. He finds the Rush Luffy, which is very unfortunate. But again, I think I had enough counter where I can just easily prolong the game just a little bit longer if he goes after Dragon instead of me. Because remember, Newgate is at a 7. And he swings 11 into it. And in my head, I'm like, okay, yeah, I need to protect him at all costs because he's the key piece to winning this game. So I believe I just opted out to give him the Makina and the Nami, making him a 12. Now, he swings 6 at me. Of course, I'm going to take it because, low on counter. Got another Rayleigh. Not good at this point. At least I don't think this is good at this point. And then I believe he swings 7 with Newgate. He has no Dawn up. Right. Yeah. 7 with Newgate. See another Alabaster Chopper. And I'm just like, this is not great. So now looking back, hindsight, I think I should have played a Crayha to find either the blocker choppers, find the searcher choppers. Not too sure, because here I see now that it probably wasn't viable to try to go for game, because that's what I'm contemplating right now. I have the rusher in hand, and I have the 4 bodies, the rusher making it 5. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, let's see if I can try to crunch some numbers in. So I think I go 10. Oh, I think I went 10, 9, 7, 7, 8, I think. Oh, right. Yeah. He had all these extra counters in hand, which, that's what made me think I could go for it. Because swinging 8 here, and little did I know, as you're about to see in a second, he had the finishing counters. He got another counter out of life that saved him. So that's bad news for me. That is a big GG. Can't do nothing about that. All you gotta do is just swing tall into me, and that's all the game. Because I didn't have no counters in my hand. Like I said, hindsight, maybe I should have went for the Crayhaws instead to see if I can find any blocker choppers or anything that would possibly save me. Then he drew into a Gum Giant. Had another one up top. Next one is RG Luffy, Red Green Luffy, a deck I am super unfamiliar with. Even back in the promo days, I never thought this leader was that good in color combination. He's a very aggressive leader. But, part of Op01, we're going to try it out against, which is arguably one of its worst matchups, that being Smoker, a black leader. And black is really good for just removing all my cards off the board any given time. So, going first, I had no Nami, no Bonnie Searcher plays. So he hits me with a brand new, ends up searching Tashigi. My turn comes back, still no real plays. I didn't think it was a point to play the Rosinante. It was probably going to get popped, so I just opted to swing 8 with the leader and pass it up. I'm gonna let you guys know right now, this game was kind of a steamroll for me. I was not able to establish anything consistently. I was not able to get the board cracking. And yeah, he also did the same thing. He opted to be very aggressive and swing with this brand new, which tells me so much. So first thing I did was try to think about all the main game plays. Play the Cavendish, play blockers, play Luffy, something, and have it bait for him to pop it with Tashigi and or any other characters that he might have in his hand, or even events. But I think it was probably smarter to throw out the Luffy this turn, because I need Cavendish is such a key card in this matchup. So I'm like, you know what, I can't lose Cavendish this soon. So I think I opted to play the Rush Luffy this turn, just to keep applying pressure on him, get cards out of his hand, or if he wanted to take the life, he'll take the life. I believe he counters out 2K. Yeah, he counters out 2K with the Suru. But I noticed his trash was already established, which spooked me, because I'm like, okay, he is 100% playing Gecko. He has Gecko. He uses leader ability. and then swings the big 7 at me. Can't do nothing but counter out of that. I don't want to go too low too quickly, but looking at my hand is looking like I'm going to be real low real quick. I see the Bonnie. I'm thinking, okay, maybe I can establish something this turn, or maybe I can find something in my deck which allows me to like keep putting pressure on it, because with TCG on board, he has a consistent 6 swinger on board, which have to be answered with 2Ks or blockers. Now you see I have the Rose blocker in my hand, but the problem with the Rose blocker is he protects rested characters, not necessarily himself as a blocker. So in my mind, I'm like, all right, he might be kind of useless in this game if I don't fully establish everything that's going on. So I'm like, okay, we're going to play out the Hawkins this turn, because playing Bonnie and not going to be able to find anything, or the chances of me whiffing would also suck greatly. So I'm like, all right, he's going to have to answer this Hawkins as fast as possible, because at least with Hawkins, he has to put in a little bit more effort into get rid of it, because Hawkins is like Rush Ace. If you want to get rid of it, all your characters have to be rested. And then I didn't think about it at first, but he could play Jack. And if he plays Jack to get rid of Hawkins, that sucks on my part. And see, he's opting to be very aggressive on me. I think I blocked this attack. At least I should have blocked this attack. I'm looking at his trash to see how much Gecko fodder that he has, and I see that he has a Sengoku in there. So I'm mapping in my head the next turn. All right, Gecko. Oh, I end up taking it. Right. Because there was no other way. I didn't think about the Jack. That was the big thing. I didn't think about what I think the combination is like Ice Age, Jack. But he doesn't do that. He ended up opting to go exactly what I thought. He was Gecko into Borsalino into Sengoku. Sengoku pretty much is actually a +1 because he came from the trash instead of coming from the hand, which he trashes 2, draws 3. That's pretty busted for Smoker, if I'm not gonna lie. I do the 2K for turn, and now I'm like, okay, I can't deal with this for real. Even with leader ability, I can't deal with this because my leader ability only does me so much justice. I'm so far behind in both card advantage, field advantage, life advantage. I've already pretty much like mentally given up in this matchup. So I'm like, all right, let me start establishing with this Cavendish. And if Cavendish sticks, then cool. And see if I can find anything with Bonnie as well. And I see that I find, I was looking for a Rush Zoro, but I couldn't find a Rush Zoro. So I'm like, okay, it's either I take a 2K or take a vanilla Zoro. And it was pretty, I'm not gonna lie, this is pretty tough. This is pretty frustrating. So I'm like, okay, what do I do here? I could swing 5, but he's gonna block with the Borsalino. So it's like, do I just dawn up on my leader and start swinging with other things to try to mediate his board? But again, he has a bunch of cards in hand. So no matter what I swing at, unless it's leader, he's going to counter out for the most part, except for the Sengoku as well. Sengoku's too small. There's no point in countering, but he could choose to block. So I'm like, all right, maybe I should just dawn up the leader and then swing as big as I can into the leader. Because Bonnie's going to die next turn. It's a possibility Cavendish is going to die next turn. So yeah, I donned up, swing 9 into TCG just to see if I can get 2 2Ks out of him, which I believe he does. No, he lets it go. Right. He lets it go because I think he understands like that's not worth it to necessarily block with it. I could be wrong. I wasn't entirely sure what was in his hand, but if he has a Rebecca, he can get the Tashigi back. That's what came across my hand. Yeah. If he has a Rebecca or has access to Rebecca, then swinging with my leader to it probably was a solid play. Now he swings 10 into my Bonnie. Let it go. I might as well just let it go. There's no point in saving it. Now the spooky thing is he could swing with his blocker. If he swings with his blocker, that puts me in an even more precarious position. And another thing, he has another TCG. Like, what can you do to stop this? Honestly, like, you can be as aggressive as possible, but if you don't see any rushers, what do you do? He swings 7 at me. You see, I have 2 2Ks and a 1K in my hand, and it's like, misplay. The misplay I made was not leaving a dawn up for this specifically, this radical beam. And it makes me wish that I did swing 8 instead of 9. I think the results might have been the same. Maybe. And the big fear came, him swinging 9 with his blocker. And now I'm like, all right, this is game over for me. Because again, what do? I can't survive a next turn. Even my blocker is in jeopardy of dying. If he really wanted to, he probably would have just swing big into he'll probably just swing big into my leader with Sengoku, which is crazy, but we as One Police players, we try to be as optimal as possible, so I can see it happening. The Kid Killer really doesn't matter here, if I'm being honest. My opponent still has 6 cards. He has 4 life. The only thing I can truly take out with Dawn active is like double Ursalino, but even then, that's still wrong. And even in the end, I don't think it mattered because I left 1 Dawn up anyway for the radical beam. Leaving 2 up didn't matter. So I'm like, you know what? There's no point. I'm gonna just start swinging at the leader. And just to put insult to injury, he takes it, right? And I'm like, if he's taking it, that means he has more than enough counter. Obviously, yeah, he will have more than enough counter. Yeah, just what can you do? Like, honestly, what can you do? What can you honestly do? Yeah, just keep swinging at leader. He's gonna counter a 2-1, I believe. Oh, excuse me, he takes it. Oh, man. Looking back on this game, guys, this game was so rough. Like, I was in my head so heavy. I'm like, yeah, just keep poking at him with 7s. And just for him to take it all. And just, because it didn't matter. Just take it all, swing big. Yeah, radical beam my poo. Didn't matter. Swing 7 with Tashiki, and that's good game on my part. Like, guys, look at that hand. He has Rebecca. He has everything. Ice Age and everything. Now, this next game with Blue Duffy, I'm gonna let you guys right now. I'm gonna let you guys know right now. I played this game absolutely wrong. Like, I believe that you're actually just supposed to build wide, put Duffy to 2, maintain your board, and then swing into him, because actually they found a way to make him viable against Dofi by just playing all character removal cards. Gadatsu, Nami, Luffy. I believe they even opted to run either up to 3 or 4 Kingdom Come now, just for, you know, big bodies. But even if that opponent didn't have big bodies, if the characters are liable to get blown up, they just use Kingdom Come to blow them up. Also, Onami out of life. So yeah, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going second. I see the Perona, I stack my deck. I'm like, all right. I got the Jinbei, so I should be good in this case scenario. And like I said, I played this entirely wrong. And I can admit that I played this entirely wrong. But I just wanted to make sure my board was established. And realizing that he didn't have any character. See, I also messed up. I played the wrong law. I should have played the bouncer law to put the Perona back in my hand. And then his first trigger is freaking Shirahoshi. Like, draw 3, trash 2, get rid of these 2 Kingdom Comes that do absolutely nothing this early in the game. I agree. He blew me away with this Kuzan, by the way. I was not ready for this Kuzan. He puts a character 3 or less into my life, And then I have to choose to trash a card out of my hand, which I'm like, yellow is starting to loop cards out of people's hands now? And then I realize it's, I believe it's a card that come, or did Kuzan come out in this set? Not so sure. But yeah, now I see that I needed to hurry up and try to establish a board quick as possible and just maintain that board. I see the Jinbei, I see the Crocodile and the other law, and I'm like, okay, cool. I can stack my deck where if he does swing into me, I'm able to capitalize. If I see either Weevil, Boa, or even if I see Jozu, I'll be able to capitalize because I'll be able to bounce cards back to his hand, unnecessary cards, and then putting him later for his whole entire life insurance, right? So yeah, just contemplating. He is a OP 09 card. Okay, yeah. So he's a brand new card. I was not thinking about this card because I've seen the card and I didn't think it was all that good, for real. But it's okay. So I did my stack, and I think I just did it big into his leader again. Swinging with the Jinbei first is correct though, because just in case he hits a Onami out of life or Luffy out of life, no, not a Luffy, a Nami out of life, and just blows up the Jinbei, then I'll lose out on a swinger. So I go play the other Jinbei, play bounce law, bounce back my Perona, bounce back the Kuzan to his hand. He takes it, obviously. Now he's down to 1. And see, that's what I was talking about. He gets rid of the law, so that puts me at 1 less body. Realizing what's going on, I'm like, eesh, I need to keep this Jinbei alive, so I give him the 2-1. And then he plays Gadatsu, and it's like, okay, yup. This is where things are starting to get tragic. So here's the strange part, right? I clearly don't have enough characters on board to putting him, and I think that was my big mistake. Because if I would have found a way to establish another body, then this putting would have been more effective. But again, you can't account for a Nami trigger and a Gadatsu in the same turn. So I putting him just to make it a little bit harder and trying to hurry this matchup as much as possible. Swing 8 at him. I think, yeah, he countered 2 2Ks. I'm like, all right, 2 Flampes. There's no way I putting you into more 2Ks, right? Now, mind you, I'm at 6 life. He's at 1. If he decided that he wanted to drop the Yamato, he can literally blow up my board. Every single Yamato drop. I'm like, okay, Yamato drops, I'm a red rocket. If Katakuri drops, I'm a red rocket. And it also just depends on what's in my upcoming draw or what's in my incoming life. And then he does the Nami thing. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't keep these characters on board. And I think this actually is the reason why the game ended up steamrolling the way it did. Because Nami just takes care of everything in my deck. And then on top of that, sure, Hoshi blocker. So I'm looking at everything with Sengoku, and I'm like, okay, do I swing this turn? Do I not swing this turn? I think I don't swing this turn, because swinging at this turn, all he does is cycle a card, and then he finds the Katakuri, and now he's playing the starving game with me. He didn't swing into me. He did nothing else. So I'm like, okay, gotta go into Jinbei, into Weevil, give me something. And I'm like, all right, board's starting to look a little more established. I'll give it another turn. Then he drops another Katakuri, and I'm like, oh no, I can't do this. I'm like, one of these Katakuris gotta go. But my fear was if he drops the ace, then that puts me back into another precarious position. So I opted to just drop the law, give him back the blocker Shirahoshi. And then I believe I start pinging him again, right? Yeah, I started pinging him again. And yeah, I think in my head I already knew like, that last Nami play really made a big difference. That Nami really made a very big difference in my board. And so I swing 7 with Gecko. I think my next swing, because do I know what's on the top of my life? I don't think so, yeah, and that's why I opted to swing the 8, which arguably again should have just played the Sengokus, because this starts happening. I should have just played the Sengokus and started looking for more bodies to put on board, because now all he's going to do is just clean up on my board, not touch my life at all. Plays the ace, doesn't swing, yep. And I see the boa, and I'm thinking to myself, oh boy, okay. If I see 2 more boas, we can be in the game. So I red rocked to him. I saw the Jozu. I'm like, okay, Jozu can potentially get me somewhere if I get another body on board that needs to be bounced back. Or at the worst case scenario, he's just a 1K counter in my hand. Looking at his trash, I'm trying to see of all the 2Ks that he used. And then I realize he's only used the Flampe's. And I'm just like, yeah, there's no point in swinging this turn. So I put the Weevil and the Law up top. I believe I kept it that way. I left the Jozu up top. Why did I swing with this Law? Oh, to get him to start cycling cards out of his hand. Right. But doing this, it runs a risk potential of him, yeah, getting a trigger like that. Or worst case scenario, he would have got the 0 cost event and put in another life, and it was like, oh my god. So he swings into it. He swings into the Law. Again, he's just starving me at this point, which he's doing a really good job of. I see Gravity Blade out of life. I'm like, it's better to use this, or is it not better to use this? Because it only bottom decks 2 6s. At this point, he's not playing anything less than a 6. So I think I just kept it in my hand. Yeah, I kept it in my hand just in case he wanted to be extra with it. And I'm just taking a life because, you know, I need the cards out of my hand. He's been starving me for the last 3 turns. See the 1Ks, see he drops another ace, and it's like, yeah. Maybe taking the Frankie hit wasn't it. Because there's no guarantee that I'm going to draw to something that I truly need. I mean, the 2K counters are cool. But now, again, strange position. And I think this is starting to look like game over for real. Because I see Gecko, I see another Weevil, I see the counter cards, and I see the non-counters. But the Gecko up top, looking, I don't think that was correct. But I was so blinded by what was on the board, I didn't give it into some serious consideration. I think what should have happened, I should have left the Gecko up top, played Weevil, draw. That would have left me with 5 Dawn. Play the Gecko. Think it was better to just get another 2K out of trash, or not so sure. Y'all can say in the comments what could have been done better in these games. I'm super open to criticisms and different opinions. So yeah, I think, in my head I'm like, I don't think I can win for real. These games are a little tough. And I'm also kind of like getting mentally drained from the previous game with the red-green Luffy too. So I'm like, oh, not Dofi. Like, Dofi is a deck I've been playing since set 1. Oh, okay, I did do this. So I swung 7 at the Frankie to get the Jinbei back with Gecko. I think it was Jinbei into Weevil just to get the non-counter card out of my hand. I believe he doesn't protect this Frankie. I don't think so. And that was another thing with this NL player. He took a lot of time doing certain things. So yeah, opted to just play the Jinbei to the Weevil, draw the 2K. Yep. And that should have been, yeah, that should have been it. And again, looking back, I should have played that Sengoku. Like, my stack wasn't good at all. Because all he's doing is he's just swinging into my board with little bodies. And then cracking my life with bigger bodies. Yep, so he swings it to me, swings it to me with Katakuri, swings it to me with Ace. I think he drops another Ace after this. I countered this one, right? Excuse me. I think I let this one ride, yeah, just to have that extra counter, because everybody, yeah, he had another Ace. So it was like I had to do something, even if there was a sliver of a chance to poke him into game. I should have played the Sengoku, because at least it would have upped my chances to see another pudding. And seeing another pudding in this situation would have been so much better. Because it'll put him at 6, 7, cycle 1, back to 6. Yeah, it might have been better. But again, still learning with this deck at the end of the day. And then on top of that, like I said, this deck is now built to deal with mid-range decks now. So the 2 Onamis really shifted the tempo in this game. Crazy. Yeah, in my head, I'm just looking at the math. And I'm like, just do the best you can. Don't swing nothing less than 5. That's pretty much what I said at this point. And if he hits another character out of life, it's like, yeah, that's super GG. And just add insult to injury, he counters, because I think he saw it. So it was like, all right, yep, this is where it stands. This is where it stands. Rocking a hard place, guys. It's like I could play Perona, look at what's there. Doesn't matter. Jozu doesn't matter. Like, there's literally there's nothing I can do. What, swing on my blocker? Yeah. It's like, I'm literally in my head like, can I have done this any better? Could I have played around the Onamis any better? I don't think so. Yeah, you see, I've given up. I started swinging that board, and he's just flexing his 2Ks. It's like, all the 2Ks. I think with that pudding, I gave him all 2Ks. And then he started slowly drawing into his top end. Swing 7, doesn't matter. Hits a Frankie, draws a card. It's like, yeah, all the insult to injury. I just let him have it. It's so funny because Anel is one of my, he had all the removals. And Anel is one of my favorite leaders. Here's another match I did not personally like, because this is 2 leaders who are not being truly played in a meta. And like, I'm not really keen on Odin like that. But I see the searchers, I'm like, okay, we can possibly get somewhere. Now I'm contemplating, because in the next turn I can go Otama into You Could Be My Samurai, draw more cards, Or I can set up the Rhizo play and start generating cards in the longevity. I'm like, he doesn't have no way to interact with all these counters in my hand. He has no way to interact with Rhizo. So I chose the Rhizo. I'm like, okay. Maybe I can do something against, Daz Bones if I just start drawing cards, because then, I'll start establishing. So I think early game into Buggy, I think you just constantly poke. Now, mind you, Odin, never seen meta play. He's never been good. We didn't start getting good ways into support of him until way later, and at that point we already had Kinemon. Kinemon is infinitely better than Odin, and I actually can't wait for the next video to play Kinemon. So yeah, we opted to go. When I saw the Momo, I'm like, Momo I should play, but again, it's okay, we have 5 life leader. He has no way to interact with the Rhizo or the Otama. So grabbing that, I drew a Carrot, which Carrot is actually really good until his 7 drops. And I was like, thank God, I have something to play. So here we are with this. He blew me away. He played the blocker Dofi. I don't know no Buggy list that played blocker Dofi. So if he's stacking, I think he's sort of playing Buggy like you play Ivankov, where you're looking to see if you can find your big bodies and play them in the long run, right? And I'm like, okay, maybe I need to play. I was debating if I should play an Otama or play Momo. If I play Momo, that's 2 Dawn. Or should I Izo, rest his blocker, swing into the blocker, draw a card? And I think that's what I end up doing. Yeah. Because with the Izo, that's 3 Dawn rested. Use leader ability to pitch the blocker, push the Cat Viper to restand 2 more Dawn, so I can play Momo. Yeah. Play Momo or play Otama. Like that whole line of play to me just seems nice. But again, to pitch a card out of hand where you might need it later really sucks. But at the same time, blue, my also big fear was blue plays a lot of heavy removal cards such as, Red Rock and Gravity Blade, and I believe some even play Buggy Shot. So I'm like, all right, let me just widen this board up a little bit. So, Momo search into a 2K. Now Rhizo effect will kick in perfectly because Rhizo needs 2 rested characters. So with him plus Momo, that gives me a free draw into the Dendro. I'm like, oh, this is about to be a perfect curve. Like Dendro into pretty much Imagination. So swing 6 at him, see if he'll take it. I believe he does not. Oh, he does take it. Okay. So I'm looking at my hand. I'm like, okay, cool. He can, depending on what he does, he could use his leader ability and play any of the 7 drops. That's fine. Excuse me. He goes Galdino into my Momo. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I did contemplate using the 0 event, but using a 0 event, I think I would rather protect the Rhizo. So that's exactly what he does. He goes 6 into Rhizo. I'm like, yeah, no, we're just gonna use the 0 event. What did I end up pitching? I think I pitched the Otama. I didn't pitch the Dendro because I really needed that Dendro. So I was going back and forth between, I pitched the Otama. Yeah. Because I'm thinking about all the draw that I'm doing with Rhizo. So I'm like, there's no point in searching. I don't want to bottom deck anything. I might as well draw 2 cards. And he does exactly what I thought. He goes Crocodile into Daz Bones, which Daz Bones, I started thinking about it. I'm like, if he doesn't play any Vince, Daz Bones ain't nothing but a 5/6 character, which is fine. I drew into the Yamato, and I'm thinking this would have been better the previous turn because I didn't have the Dendro available, but it's not truly necessary to play this card. So she's just essentially either discard fodder for my leader ability or she's just a counter. So this turn I'm thinking, okay, I need to draw more cards. I need to make my board wide and establish this Dendro. Or even better, if I had a way, establish a carrot. but I think I opted to go the Dingero route. Right? Because Dingero makes sense. Again, he has no, besides Red Rock and Gravity Blade, Buggy does have no interaction with standing characters, if I remember correctly. So yeah, I go 6 into his leader, draw into another Raizo, and I'm like, I don't think it's a point to get greedy. Maybe there's an argument that I should have played this. Not so sure. So I'll go 5, see if he gives me another counter. Because so far, he's been giving me counters, and there's a card that he plays later that blew my mind. Not gonna lie, it blew my mind, and I think it was ultimately the reason why he got it in the first place. So, staring at these two big bodies of 6K and 7K, I'm like, I need to keep as many counters in my hand as possible. He finds another Galdino, and I think he finds another 7 drop. No, he finds a 2K. Yeah, he finds 2K Kabaji, which I'm trying to keep in mind. Like, all right, 2K Kabaji. He goes 7 into the Raizo, and I'm like, can't save that. That's fine. Like, Raizo did his job 2 turns in a row. That's cool. You know, Dash Bones in the Easel. That's also fine. It's what he did after this, which I think kind of puzzled me a little bit. He goes Croc into Dash Bones, and I'm like, okay, this board is mad scary. Like, having 2 6Ks and 2 7Ks on board is really terrifying. So I'm looking, and I'm like, I should have took that life. But I was thinking that I didn't have a way to like fully establish my board back how it was. So I think the smart play here, I was going back and forth between playing the Carrot and playing Odin. The problem with playing Odin is that he'll hit me on a crackback with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters, potentially 6 if he decided to don up Galdino. And the only 2K I had in my hand at the time is the Ezo. So I'm like, all right, maybe I just need to freeze his board for a little bit. Hindsight now, I think I should have put the 3-cost event for Minx in here. It may not be searchable, but it helps in situations like this where your opponent builds wise and starts swinging kind of tall on you. At least if I would have had that, then it would have been easier to drop the Odin. Because if I was to drop Odin was only going to be swinging at these characters. Because old green, even some newer green leaders, you have to swing at board first before you swing at leader. Yeah, looked at his trash to see how many 2Ks he pitched out. I remember he still had the Kabaji. So I'm like, okay, I need to do something about this board. So I think I opted to go to Carrot, freeze to Crocodile, right? I believe so. Again, guys, you can tell me in the comments where I could have done better in this. All my Odin heads, y'all can definitely tell me where I did better or where I could have done better. Yeah, put a Dawn on Dingero, freeze the Crocodile, which swinging with Dingero puts me back at 5 Dawn, right? Swinging 8 into the Dash Bones, and I believe he counters. Yep, he counters, and that so surprised me because I'm like, dude, you're down on cards. Why not just let it go and be up on cards? Because blue is good for hand advantage. So I'll go 8 again into the Dash Bones to see if he'll protect it. And he does. And I'm like, this is not good. I don't know if it was an argument to swing taller because this last card in the hand, I didn't know at the time what the last card in his hand. Now looking, it's like this last card was the scariest thing he can ever put into this deck. And I think it makes sense to some degree, as you guys will see in a minute. Galdino to Momo. Maybe I should have protected that and have him forced to swing into it again. He goes 10K into Dingero. I could have saved him, but Actually, now looking back on it, I should have saved him. Knowing what I know now, I should have saved him. Because Dendro is such a huge playmaker. And as you see, like, it's taking me a little bit of time to like figure out what I wanted to do, is because I was really debating if he donned up these Daz Bones, he would have to swing into the Dendro again. Because he hasn't been swinging into my life for real. Yeah, I should have saved this Dendro. I should have saved Dendro, 100%. Because now he plays Inazuma, and I was thinking like that. At first I was like, oh, this is just some weird spicy tech. But then I looked at his hand, I was like, wait. If he consistently keeps 2 or less cards in his hand, he essentially just has a surplus of cards in his hand cycling at all times. Because at first I thought he used leader ability to play it, but I'm like, this is Revolutionary Army, Impel down. And now I'm back into that position where it's like, what do I do, right? Because like his board is super scary. Just give him no Otama, pass it up. The reason why I gave him Otama is because just in case he played another blocker, I would need the Ezo to stop it. Drawn to these, drawn to another card. I don't think that was cool. And I saw this could be my Samurai. And I'm like, all right, if there's any slimmer chance that I could drop this Odin, I would have done it. But with 2 6Ks and now 2 7Ks on board, the game just got a lot harder. Got so much harder. And now I'm thinking to myself, all right, do I establish another Raizo? Do I keep him in my hand for counter? Because I know no matter what, I will have to freeze his crocodiles. I'll have to freeze both crocodiles this turn no matter what. And potentially use this as my Samurai this turn and restand my Dawn and swing into one of his other bodies. And I think that's what I end up doing, right? Yep, Daz Bones, freeze Croc. I believe he doesn't let this go. I think he counters? No, he lets it go. Okay. So he lets that go. And I think that was correct to play out the next carrot, freeze the other crocodile. There is a argument here. Because I miscounted my Dawn. I think there was an argument here to not drop the carrot and instead play Odin and Raizo. Odin Raizo, and then this could be my Samurai. Maybe. Because here I drew into another Odin. I'm like, all right, no matter what the situation was, I was going to draw into another brick. But again, Odin is not... Buggy play Peekaboo, bottom deck, my carrot. And I think he did it again. Buggy play Peekaboo, bottom deck, my other carrot. Just completely got rid of my board. And now he's down to 2 or less cards in his hand. So his Inazuma is about to grant him more card advantage. And it's like, oh my god, I can't do nothing about this. Oh man. Tough. Very tough. Bottom decking the only 2 carrots in my deck, and I drew the Ginger out. I'm like, yeah, no, this is definitely a good game. That Inazuma actually put in so much work for him. I'm just, yeah. At this point, I was just trying to clear his board. But again, those Inazumas, that Inazuma, man. Gave him so many more options, and I'm thinking that might be the play come time to play Buggy. Yeah, I think I'm gonna try out that Inazuma tech come Buggy. Next match is My Law against Shanks. Now, I'm gonna say this now. I think Shanks just dog walks Law. Like Law is way past his prime at this point. And this Law build, I believe this Law build is the top 16 from Op08. It's on No Heroes channel. I will leave all the deck profiles that I did use in the description below. But yeah, I was thinking to myself, like, how do I fight against a removal deck? And it was very, very, very rough. I'm not gonna lie, because blocker Law is your pretty much key to like surviving this game, but their key to answering Law is Ben Beckman, and it's like, okay, Ben Beckman takes care of Law, so there's an argument that I should have been a little more aggressive in this match, because him swinging with Uta blew me out the water. I'm not gonna lie, straight up blew me out the water. And I'm contemplating here to give him the Chopper or give him a 2K. I do not want to give him the Bonnie. Bonnie, heart and soul of search engines in his deck. So I just opted to give him the Makino, because Makino only boosts red characters. She doesn't boost green characters. So I'm like, okay, we can try to start establishing. But first we 100% got to get rid of this little runt that is Uta. Because why are you swinging with this Uta, right? Law is a very, very, very technical deck. I can never play it. I'm not technical minded like that. And really looking back, I don't think there was much I could do based on the cards I was seeing. And maybe I should have opted to mulligan for more searchers. Because with Shanks' ability minusing 1 during my attacks, it's not like Zoro, where I could just ping Shanks for 6s. So I was, like I said, I think it would have been, better to just be a little more aggressive into Shanks. So fight aggression with aggression. So now, putting this Bonnie out, oh god, that was such a risky move to put that Bonnie out. But I didn't think he had anything in his deck besides Ben Beckman, which is not even his turn to play that card, to interact with standing characters. Excuse me. So, I think the early game, I do believe I was doing this as correctly as I could. Swinging 6 to the Zoro, I'm protecting this 100%. Like, I need these bodies. And he wasn't even really starving me for real. So I'm now looking, I'm like, okay, if I find, which I didn't, I was looking for a Cavendish. Because if I would have found Cavendish, played the Cavendish, swung with the Zoro. Well, can't swing with Zoro, actually. Actually, could you swing with Zoro? Cavendish is a 5. Yeah, I could have swung with Zoro. Swing 6 to the Zoro, he would have minused it, which would have been fine. Use the Cavendish to get 2 Dawn back, use leader ability, bounce back the Zoro, play Law bounces back Bonnie, put Bonnie back on board. That would have been at least key sequence in my head. But just trying to figure out how I wanted to establish this. So like my Zoro, playing double Zoro feels bad because that takes up 3 Dawn. Yeah, it will leave 2 left, but him as a 6k leader, or maybe that would have been the right play to put. No. Yeah, because it wouldn't leave no room for my leader ability. Yeah. So no, I think did this as best as I could to play the Otama. Now he knows I have a 2K. So I use my leader ability to put this Otama back in my hand, play the Law, bounce the Bonnie back, right? Yeah, bounce the Bonnie, play the Bonnie back out there so I can get another search to see if I can get another Cavendish. Because not seeing Cavendish really hurts. Oh, I opted to play the Zoro. Oh yeah, to be more aggressive. So hindsight, it would have been probably better to play the Bonnie out. But even if they would have swung at the Bonnie, I have Law, and I have Chopper. So yeah, I should have played the Bonnie out to get another search to see if I can find the Cavendish. Yeah. Like I said, guys, this deck is very, very, very technical. So no, it might be like, don't get me wrong, I'm not looking down on Law players. Shout out to all y'all who's able to play this deck efficiently. Because man, this leader is actually very hard. It's probably one of the hardest leaders I ever played. Or tried playing, I should say. But, you know, I'm enjoying doing this. Especially nobody else is doing this. So I'm one of a kind for this. This is going to be a long Ironman, guys. 9 sets, 2 years. So yeah. Ben Beckman down on 7th on turn. That makes sense. I think swinging into my board is absolutely correct. And I give him this Zoro because having 3 Zoro already is like, alright, sure. Because now this is a race to see if I can find another Law. Which again, big playmaker in this deck is Law. Another one is Cavendish. And I'm also noticing that I have not seen Curly the Dan, which searches Nami, and I just drew the Nami for turn. That's what popped up in my head when I saw Nami. I'm like, wait, where are my Curlies? And as I say that, I'm like, oh, there she goes. And this Bonnie whiffs on Laws, and I'm like, if I play this Nami and if I bottom deck more than one Law, I'm in trouble. What I do, I bottom deck Restand and another blocker Law. The only thing I can grab is Chopper. I'm like, oh no, this game is about to go south really quick. I'm like, okay, what do I do? And again, this Law game is very, 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 very tough against Shanks, because Shanks, all you got to do is just -1, and then literally a third of my striking characters are just like not doing nothing to him. Plus he only has 4 cards in hand, and I'm pretty sure those 4 cards were either top end or just enough counters to save his bodies. So I was thinking, okay, maybe we go 7 into the Yasub. He goes -1 on the Law and gives Yasub a 2K. At least in my head, that would make sense. God, really looking, I don't know if I could have done anything better. I'm not too sure. Because I still need my leader ability no matter what, so I can save this Bonnie. Knowing my luck, I was not seeing another Bonnie anytime soon. Yeah, and he minuses the Zoro, he gives Yasub a 2K. I'm like, okay. Sure, because now in my head I'm like, I really need to get rid of this Yasub. So I bounce back the Bonnie just so I can save it for next turn, put a Dawn on Zoro so I can swing it to, you know, Yasub for 4. He gives me another 2K, he gives me another 2K, it is what it is. He let Yasub die, so I'm like, alright, mediating the problem. Cool. But then I realize he goes to his 9 Dawn turn. And I'm immediately thinking, okay, if he plays Edward Newgate, he literally clears 2 cards on my board. Or if he plays another Ben Beckman, he clears 2 cards on my board. Because I have no 2Ks in hand, my only 2K is on the board. And that Bonnie whiffing on Cavendish or Law and Nami only getting me another blocker Chopper was not what I was looking for. So at this point, I'm just like, all right, what can I do? What can I honestly do? Like, I could be aggressive, but that's only giving him more resources. And you guys will see at the end of the game, like, I don't think it was worth getting him more resources to like answer my board. Because if you think about it, my board has been fully established for the last 3 turns. Right? He opts to play the dragon. I'm like, welp, this dragon is about to hurt severely. Because that right there, if he just not swing at my board anymore and starts swinging at my life, it's like, I can't stop this. I would have to start finding blockers, which, okay, I saw the more pizza, draws me into a 2K. I'm like, all right, first 2K since Otama. Then he swings 8 at me again. I'm thinking about the next turn play where he has to drop Goldie Roger if I hit 0. So I'm like, nah, I need to save myself as much as possible. Finding another Nami, I don't think it was any point to playing her for real, because I didn't have enough green cards in my hand. Directly looking at these plays, I don't think I could have done anything. So I just opted to go Bonnie again, see if I can find these cards, like Chopper as well. Would have been cool. And there goes all 4 laws gone. There was nothing anytime soon that I could have done to save myself. So, might as well grab the law while you can, right? Because if you think about it, 1 law is dead, 1 is in my hand, 2 more at the bottom of my deck. I wasn't seeing the bottom of my deck anytime soon. So now I'm just contemplating how I want to shambles around these cards. And I think here, yeah, bounce the Otama, put the Bonnie back in my hand, play Bonnie again, try to search for more defense, right? I think that's what I should have done. Because again, if I find a Cavendish at this point does nothing but be a counter. So it's like, drop the Bonnie, find more 2Ks, or find some type of blocker. Yeah, look at that. There goes Cavendish. Super late to the party like always. Such Cavendish fashion. So I just grabbed another Bonnie just for the counter. And then I think I opted to start swinging at the Ben Beckman, right? And this is a misplay because he could have easily went -1 on the law and then the attack fizzles. And yep, big misplay on me, big misplay. Go 7 again, pretty sure he has the counter for it. Yep, he has the lucky rule. I was like, you know what, I can't do nothing else, gotta play this blocker and just hope he doesn't have it. Because this is 3 swings. If he has, no, we know for a fact, all Shanks see 10 drop Shanks every single game. There's never been a time where they don't see the card. But that's the thing, right? He drops the Shanks, and -1,000 doesn't matter at this point. It's just swinging, just swing all into me. Because even mathematically, I don't think there's enough counter in my hand with 6 cards to counter out all these big swings, especially even if he mathed this correctly. Because what, you have to go through Chopper blocker, Law blocker, my last life, and me. That's 4 swings. And with the rush Shanks, that would be exactly 4 swings. But swinging base with Ben Beckman would have been countered out and give me another turn, just like now. I think I understood that too. Yeah, I understood that. So I countered out here just in case he did have the 10 drop rusher, which again they always do. I think it'd have been better if it's better to block here, because if he had go D Roger and then swung, that's super game. Yeah, so I block here. I think this is the part where he drops the Shanks, which is smart, because he drops Shanks, everything on my board becomes -1, Law becomes a 5k instead of a 6k. Yep. Swings at me for 12. I can stop it, but I'm more worried about finishing blow. So I took it, Curly the Dan, late to the party. Super late to the party. And then he swings 5 with the leader. It's like, I'm gonna just block that with the Law and just see if I can do anything about anything, right? And give him the Curly. But at the same time, I already know it's game over. I have not hit his life, not one time. It's like, Bonnie, find me something, restand Law, sure, whatever. Another Bonnie, I don't even know what I'm looking for at this point. They go to third Cavendish. Yeah, this is just rough. Super duper rough. Looking back on this game, the couple misplays that I made could have been done differently. Not too sure, honestly. Yeah, I'm just looking around to see if I can do anything about this, but I don't think I can, so I think I just opted to swing at Ben Beckman. Yeah. Because everything on my board is -1. Yeah. It's like what can you do? What can you do about Shanks for real? As this leader, hope that they don't see their top end. Hope that they don't run into any cards that like helps them get where they need to be. Which is hard, 2k. Oh man. This is so rough. No 2Ks in hand. My leader's down -1. Like, what do you do? Bonzos are all play Cavendish. Yeah. I should have just kept that in my hand. 7 here. Lets it die, because the last card in his hand is top end. Gave him the GG's. Can't do nothing about this. Like, really just let him have it. And I think in his life, there was a Roger. Which again, I don't know how this deck lives against Roger, unless they're just up on life. Yeah, just give him the Law. Let him swing out with Shanks. Right, that is GG number. 22 is a bit excessive. No, it was another Shanks in his life. This next matchup against Purple Black Luffy with King. Look, do I even have to say anything for real? It's King, y'all. Just like Odin, never seen no relevant play. Even in casual. Like, you get Onigashima and you just work it out from there. I don't know exactly what I could have done differently in this game, if I'm being honest. Because you might as well just say he's a vanilla leader. Because when are you actually just going to have consistently in a purple deck 10 Dawn at all times? Like, I don't think you ever will, realistically. So like, my opponent is just swinging big into me. I'm like, screw it, we're just gonna drop this Onigashima and just go ahead and pray. Now what's funny, Purple Black Luffy I feel like is a sleeper deck. that not too many people are trying to like invest in. It's a very peculiar deck that does a lot of things. And I saw him drop the Onami really quickly. I'm like, does he have? I think he didn't have anything to play. So I'm thinking to myself, it's probably better to play the king, establish a big body, or should I ramp to beat his ramp, even though he hasn't been ramping? Should I just ramp into Bon Clay and then swing into the Zoro Juro? He blocks, by the way. Like, I think that may or may not have been a misplay, because Zoro already did his job by ramping him. Go Sanji, it's perfectly fine. Bon Clay already did his job. 6 into me, I really just say yeah, sure, because I realize I don't have any 2Ks in my hand. I'm just like, yeah, sure. Drew the Black Maria off of life. He swings 7. I'm like, screw it, you can have this. Draw another Onigashima. By the way, I think this is the second or third Onigashima I've seen. I've never seen Onigashima this much in any Animal Kingdom leader. Just opted to just drop the Kaido, get rid of Sanji, because like there's literally nothing else that can be done right now. And me establishing this big body, he has to answer it immediately. And with all these cards in my hand, he has to guess if I have extra counters in my hand. He counters the 2K one-legged soldier, perfectly fine. He still has me up, but he drops the Gecko, and I'm like, wait, Gecko into Onami is really good, actually. And it's like 7 into me is so out of pocket, and I have to take it. And all I'm seeing is 1Ks. I'm like, brother, where are my 2Ks? Like, this is the part. No, I should have played this differently. I should have played King to get rid of Onami. I don't think I did that. I think I opted to play the blocker instead. Why did I do that? I don't know. Yeah, I should have played the King. Looking back, I should have just played the King. That might have changed the game a little bit, because now I got 2 bigger bodies that's hard to answer. Because this kid, realistically, this kid's not doing anything. And I think I just chose, based on the amount of cards in my hand, amount of counter in my hand, I chose not to swing with the Kaido. Because he can easily don up the Gecko and get rid of it, right? Then he surprises me with his own Kaido. I'm like, there is no way you are playing Kaido. But he is. It's like, alright, I think you just gotta, yeah, like this is so bad. That was like the major turning tide. Like, what can I have done about that? He plays Kaido and Rush Luffy. So I'm like, this is a very weird build for Luffy. He disconnects before I even gave him a GG. Next is with Purple Blue Croc against Red Black Sabo. 2 off-meta leaders playing against each other. Now, I'm gonna be very, very honest with you. Because he's half red, half black, the black side, I feel like, should be carrying him all the way through this matchup. Because unless I see removal, I don't know exactly what Crocodile could do. Now, I'm looking and I'm just like, all right, Galdino, give me mid-game cards. Find a Daz Bones, have to give it to the 2Ks, but that's fine. Because Crocodile is really, really good at surviving longevity. I think against aggressive matchups, from my experience so far, you have to counter out aggressively early so you can keep your hand size low and try to keep your life healthy as long as possible, because you can either drop 9-drop Big Mom to gain you a life, or you can drop 8-drop Crocodile to get you a life. So, you know, this is like a game of actual true survival. You can argue and say that Crocodile is a weaker version than Boa Hancock, which I would say yes, because Boa does not require a Dawn, and she also requires you to have 5 cards before a card is removed. It's okay though. You'll see in the late game why I started doing the things that I did. So I'm contemplating right now if I should just like be aggressive. And I think the correct answer is yes, because if he would have got rid of Galdino, I wouldn't have tripped. He counted up, and I'm like, okay, yeah, we're gonna start pressing his face. So I swing 5 with both Croc and Galdino. See if he'll take it. He takes the life. And now next turn, I go to 5. I can either go Das Bones or I can go Bon Clay. If I go Bon Clay, depending on what he plays, I go Bon Clay. If he doesn't establish anything serious, like this Borzolino to me is not serious. So that is 100%, in my mind, that is 100% a Bon Clay move, especially at ramping me a Dawn. So I get to go to my curve quicker. If I do Das Bones, I'm filtering out the Bon Clay, because in this matchup, I'm not valuing ramping. Bon Clay is really just there to take care of bigger bodies. So yeah, I go Bon Clay, and then I see the line of play with the 2 Gatlings in my hand. I'm like, okay, if he swings tall into me next turn, use these Gatlings to pitch the Gatling draw card, because I'm keeping this Red Rock. I don't care, I'm keeping this Red Rock. And yes, Crocodile's effect works with any type of event, whether it's your turn or your opponent's turn. So counter events, removal events. He ends up blocking, give it a 2K. I'm like, that's perfectly fine, doesn't matter. Seeing that he has the Borzolino, I'm thinking this is a built tall Navy build, because building tall, swinging into Croc actually like hurts Croc a lot, because he doesn't have a lot of counters that plays into tall consistently. My opponent drops the Hina, and I'm thinking, okay, he's about to go nuts, but he only swings 7 instead of using Hina's ability, and I'm like, okay, probably should use the 0 cost event, because I don't think I have another chance to do it. Pitch 0 to get 0, use the effect, draw a card. Guess what? Drew another 0 cost event. Okay, cool. Really thinking like, if he swings with a Borsa, should I do something about this, or should I just take the life? But I don't think they swing with Borsa. Sabos rarely swing Borsas. I drew into the Miss Valentine. I'm like, okay, this is 100% Miss Valentine and Das Bones, because at this point I don't think Miss Valentine will do anything for me. So thinking to swing big with Bon Clay, like 6 into Sabo, he has to give me a 2K, or he blocks with Borzolino, give 1K. Miss Valentine will only give me Baroque Works cards, which I don't think I'm really looking for right now, unless it's a Crocodile, and I didn't want to take that chance. So I think I opted out to just go Das Bones to draw into something. I think in this deck specifically, drawing then searching is better, because you don't want to bottom deck certain event cards or certain character cards that you need for turns like this, where you need to establish a body here and there. Because at 8 Dawn, you can't, what, 5, 6, 7, yeah, at 8 Dawn, unless you're playing Croc, which I didn't have in my hand at the time, I couldn't minus out 2 to gain a life. So I opt to swing Bon Clay. He blocks with Borso, which is like, I'm perfectly fine with that. Swing 6 into him, see if he gives me something. He doesn't, he takes a life. So like I said, I think I go Das Bones to see what I get. And I saw I got another Mihawk. Pitch the Mihawk, don't need it. But I saw that I have Gildino, and I'm like, Gildino might be better because he searches the cross guild cards too. So it was correct of me to, he could search cross guild and Baroque Works, but it was correct of me to go Gildino because now I get to choose between the blocker miss all Sunday or getting Croc. Bond Clay doesn't matter, and 13 and Friday doesn't matter because I already have events in my hand. So it was really getting Croc or miss all Sunday. I believe, looking back on hindsight, miss all Sunday was a correct play because miss all Sunday will give me back my Red Rocks, my Gatlings, and everything in between. In terms of events, she does not care what color the event is. She just, on KO, she just grabs the events, which is cool. So I'm thinking more long term, right? So now I'm just waiting for my opponent to like make a solid move to see, because I know no matter what, Bond Clay's gonna die. We don't care. He did his job. He ramped me 1 to put me at 8, so I can go to 10, just in case I drew into 8-drop Croc. He swings 6 into me, which, not gonna lie, that super baffled me because, like, why not take care of his Bond Clay first instead of wasting your swing on me as the leader? And then I thought maybe he has some type of black card that gets rid of 2 cards on my board, which if he does, alright, cool. So what? I think I just opted to just take the life, and oh my goodness, this trigger was so insane. To go Gravity Blade out of life, bottom deck the Borsalino, now I don't have to deal with that no more, was so good. Because now his Hina is forced to swing at my Bond Clay. If she doesn't swing at the Bond Clay, the next turn Bond Clay is just gonna ping him again next turn for another 6. Like, you have to get rid of my cards. Yep. Like, getting rid of my board is crucial. Now, here's where I kind of misplayed at. Shura copies Leader. Leader's current attack stat. What I should have done was dash Bones first into the Hina to see if he would block it or not, or counter. I misplayed by putting a Dawn on him, but at the same time, I think it was honestly fair. So 6 into Hina. If he blocks, do anything, we're gonna go 6 into Hina again. Don't want to waste too many resources. And it's either one or two things is gonna happen. Either, depending on what he does, it was either gonna be Mihawk bottom deck the other Hina, or we go Crocodile into Miss All Sunday. And he ended up using his leader ability, which I forgot about. So I'm like, okay, you want to play like this? Then I'm gonna go 7. Let's see if you block with Shiraya and counter out. He blocks with Shiraya, but he doesn't counter. And I'm like, okay, Mihawk bottom deck this Hina. Go ahead. Like, my hand is pretty stacked. I can give up any of these cards at any point in time. Especially, 6 cards? If I really, really needed to, I would pitch the come my way. Just so I can get leader effect off. It may not be truly necessary, but it's cool. I feel like the cross skill is really putting the pressure on the Sabo, because 10 Dawn, I would assume you will go Gecko, you go ACOS Sabo, you go, shoot, even if you play Kuzan this turn, like Kuzan would definitely be kind of silly right now because you would get rid of the dash bones without swinging into it. But not too sure. I don't know if my opponent felt like they were kind of pinned to the wall at this point, because realistically, I'm up on card advantage. He goes Ice Age. I'm like, okay. Then he drops the 9-drop Kaido, which I did not think about. I'm like, ooh, that is very good. But I knew exactly what I could do, so I wasn't tripping. Because, again, Miss Valentine wasn't doing anything for me. So he opted to swing. Looking back, I should have countered. but I think I just took the life instead and got another Gravity Blade bottom deck in that Hina. I'm like, oh, this is so tragic. This is so tragic. So yeah, this turn, it was go Red Rock, bottom deck, get rid of that card. And then we go 6 into leader, 7 into leader. 6 into 7, play the Miss All Sunday, and then pass the turn. Like, at this point, I'm like fully content on everything that's happening. Yep. 6. And then 7. Yeah. And then I dropped the Miss All Sunday. Like, at this point, my opponent negged himself so bad. Granted, that Kaido was a big surprise, and I will give him that. But I still got too many options. Oh yeah, and with all these events being in my trash, Daz Bones actually gets another boost. So yeah, this is like pretty much under wraps, right? Again, granted, the black half should have been carrying the Sabo this whole entire time, but I'm not sure. I personally think Crocodile should not be winning again in this matchup because of how passive aggressive it is. And then on top of that, I did see the cards that I needed to see when I needed to see them. And 2 Gravity Blades out of life. Bottom, yeah, like my opponent just scoops it up and giving me the dub. And it's like, what can you do? So now Croc is going on a ranked server. Gave him the GGs. I don't think he said GG back. It's okay though. Just really curious on how he built this deck. Yeah. Last matchup with purple blue Kaido against the old man Edward Newgate. Another terrible matchup because all Newgate gotta do is just pound down every single turn. And if I don't see in this matchup, I think I do want to see stage so I can get to my bigger bodies quicker. And it is really difficult to stop Rush Ace, both of them actually. It would have to be a literal smackdown, beatdown type of deck. So we're literally just beating each other up. My opening hand, not too great. I'm like, I don't see stage. About to mulligan his hand. Still don't see stage, but I see who's who. I'm like, okay, who's who can give me stage, can give me pretty much all the cards in my deck. And I also see the pudding. So I'm like, all right, cool. Later in the game, if allowed to, pudding's gonna pretty much get me there. Drop the who's who, see that my options are not that great. Like 10 cost Kaido is probably not gonna 10 cost, actually now that I'm thinking about it, 10 cost Kaido might have been a better pick for late game instead of using 9 cost Kaido, because Newgate always has to take his life unless he plays the 4-drop at most. But I opted to get the Queen instead because I noticed that my hand was kind of lacking in terms of actual swingers. Now keep in mind, Newgate is just gonna, like I said, just keep pounding away at my life. There's no reason for him to smack my board. And with 2 searches off with the Ezo, it just makes it worse. Then he draws a card. Yeah, I think he draws. Yep, he draws the structure deck at most off of the Ezo. I see Searcher event. I'm like, please give me the stage. But then I see King and Big Mom as well. And I'm like, oh, King does well because he's a 7K. But I'm not really popping anything after this turn for real, unless he plays smaller blockers. So I'm thinking to myself like, okay, what can we do? What can we do? I think getting stage is better, and just letting them hit us one more turn, or start blocking out one more turn, because he establishes Atmos. Yeah, he establishes, if he establishes the Atmos, successfully swings with the Atmos, he doesn't have to take a life that turn, which pretty much like signs that like he has all the cards that he needs. So I opted to get the stage, rest the stage, ramp up the Dawn, so I can go to, I believe it's 7 next turn, with 7 upcoming. Oh man, I just remembered I misplayed in this, I think the following turn or the turn after I misplayed. But it's okay. So he opts to swing 7. With only 4 Dawn left, it's clear as day he's gonna drop the Atmos that he just drew. So I'm like, I don't want to go too low, but I still need like top end. I drew into the one of Kaido and Lin. I'm just like, brother, what do I do about this? And he drops that Atmos, and I'm like, all right. Can we do something about this? We could have if we got the king, but I didn't grab the king. So now, just contemplating how I want to spend this Dawn turn. I thought about swinging with the who's who. Thought about playing the queen. I think queen would have been actually a better play immediately. Maybe. Because here I just swing 7. I believe he just gives me the 2k. It'd be smart to just give him 2k, right? Yeah. Drops the queen. I don't need Gatling. Or do I need Gatling? I don't think I need a Gatling. No, you know what? Hindsight, I think it was probably good to keep the Gatling, because there's no way I was going to drop that 10 drop in this game. Yeah, okay, so in my mind I played that right. But still, with all these 2Ks in hand, no real bodies, it's like I need to get to I need to get to 9 and 10 Dawn as fast as possible. He drops the ace, and I'm like, okay, this is fine. But then I remembered Atmos is not on play or main, it's when attacking. So now he attacks, Nugay does not have to draw a life, and I'm like, I should probably counter this, because if I don't counter, he gets too much advantage over my board. And with him only having 3 life and a whole bunch of cards in hand, it's like the pudding is not even tempting anymore. It feels like it's a must. Yeah, 7 at me. This 100% Gatling and 10 drop. At least that seems smart to me. Why did I do that instead? Drew another Yashima. I was like, well, 3 dead cards in hand. Actually, technically, if we're being honest, all the cards in my hand are pretty dead except for the pudding. Here's where I misplayed. I was not supposed to ramp with the island. I was supposed to just put a Dawn on leader. Right? No. I was supposed to just drop the Kaido. Didn't worry about ramping back immediately. So I messed up. Now I'm forced to play the pudding because I literally have no other plays. Yeah, I was supposed to just drop the Kaido, get rid of the Atmos, swing into his ace, make him get rid of cards out of his hand. So I think the tide of this game was really dependent on that specifically. So now it's like, all right, I literally don't have nothing else to do. So putting him 7 into the Atmos, see if he counters out or not. If he did, then it's like, damn, now I have to swing into it with the queen. If he doesn't, then queen has to go into the ace. And 9 into ace is sort of fair in my mind, because that will put him at what, 7, 9, 10. That's a 2-1 out of his hand, right? Yeah, 2-1 out of his hand, put him at 3 cards. And without the Atmos, I'm thinking to myself, okay, you don't have Atmos, so what's the worst thing that could possibly happen right now? You can have Nugate. Nugate would be hard. No, you have another ace. And it's like, oh, this is GG no re. Like, this is 100% GG no re. Like, what? Again, in this situation, what could you possibly do? I understand that I misplayed, and that possibly cost me pretty much this entire game, because I'll at least be able to counter that aggression with my own aggression. He would have to focus on the 9-drop Kaido, excuse me, because 10-drop Kaido Linlin in my hand is not doing nothing, not doing nothing at all. And I find another Onigashima, and I'm like, okay, can't do nothing. What do we do? Draw into another one of the version that is blue 10-drop Kaido, and I'm just like, oh yeah, nah, this is not it. This is not it. So I'm like, all right, gotta do as much damage as we can. Swing 10 today. Oh, excuse me, swing 11 today. Swing 6 into the leader. Pretty sure he's like Rad Beam, LOL, right? Because if I already have the advantage, I think I'll pretty much do the same thing. So, looking at my hand, seeing that I only got the Black Maria 2K, yeah, just a bad matchup overall, guys. Yeah, Rad Beam 1K. I was like, whoop. Swing 6. Take it, leave it, do something. He takes it, but it's really just a flex at this point. He has 7K, put 4 Onigashimas, guys. 4 Onigashimas. Like, what? And he had another ace. It's like, what could you do? Nothing, but it's all good. That is 100% another leader going straight into the casual service that we're going to try to get 10 games with. So that's it for this video, guys. We got it with Purple Blue Croc crazy enough, so he's going to be on the ranked server. Everyone else is going to be on the casual servers. Like I said, Op01 was not like my best, but I'm gonna try every single time. If you like the video, make sure you give it a like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later, everybody.
久しぶりだな麦わら。